Danny Jacobs captures the IBF vacant middleweight strap via defeating Sergiy Derevyanchenko on a split decision, scores of 115-112 twice going to him, and then one against him of 114-113. That was what I actually scored it for Jacobs, winning on the strength of the first round knockdown. Although, having said that, 2 of the rounds I considered very close and I gave to Derevyanchenko, so I have no problem with Jacobs being given the decision. I felt he boxed his kind of fight. He fought his kind of fight. He nicely ebbed and flowed between the boxer and the attacker. Probably his most endearing quality for a guy who's quite rangy and tall, for 160 pounds, is when they were getting close and there was pretty much no clinches. It was very nice. There was continuous action at all ranges. That Jacobs is very adept inside. He knows how to slip in shots. He can loop, but he can also shorten that cross, as we saw a lot. Nice uppercuts. And then one of the things that perhaps really helped him win the fight, defensively very good inside. It was in Derevyanchenko's interests as the guy who hasn't got the range as much shorter. He had to press and get close, and he was very good at cutting off the ring. But once he got Jacobs in position, he was finding it hard to find his head. He was hitting the body, but when he was trying to work it up top, you had Jacobs twisting and reeling around, very slippery, good at blocking the right with the Philly shell shoulder there, and then blocking the hook with the right hand. So he just kind of knows he has good vision, Jacobs. He knows where he is. He was piecing it together. It was only really near the end when Derevyanchenko was really trying to push his advantage, and he was doing very well then. He was finding Jacobs' head. He started to get a bit stuck in the mud, and he was tired at that point. But not enough pop, not enough speed there. Didn't really manage to get a knockdown, perhaps, to make it even closer or put it, tip it in his favour. And Jacobs ultimately managed to rightfully win. Where Derevyanchenko goes next, it's hard to say because he's 32. And who is there really, apart from dangerous guys like Jermall Charlo? Someone like Derevyanchenko isn't going to be getting a pop against Canelo anytime soon. Maybe a rematch with Jacobs, but very probably not. Even though it was one of the best fights you will see for a vacated belt, both in terms of the participants and the kind of fight they cooked up for us. Jacobs wants that fight against Canelo. He said he would be up for fighting Golovkin again if he had a belt, but Golovkin's beltless at the moment, so there's no point of that. A fight with Canelo would be great, but I think Jacobs is a little bit in the who needs him club because he's very good as an all-rounder, as a fighter, but nothing really stands out. He doesn't have that much star power. And in terms of the risk he would present Canelo, who's got lots of options, as we know he's fighting Rocky Fielding at the weight above next, he's not going to want really Jacobs, is he? He doesn't have to do any of that. So, not sure where he goes, but the way we were looking at Jacobs, perhaps before the Golovkin fight, as a bit of a B-plus middleweight, when it looked like Golovkin was the man, he was the kingpin. I think now, with this quality win over Derevyanchenko, I think, if not an A-plus middleweight, Jacobs really is an A-level middleweight. He's very good. In his prime at 31, fights at all ranges, digs deep. When he fights to a good game plan, he's a hard man to beat, tough, overcame cancer. We all know that. He is the miracle man. So a big congrats to him. I really hope if he doesn't get Canelo, which he very probably won't, I hope we get a real cracker between him and Jermall Charlo.